Hello and thank you for joining me. On this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Vango Sol 100 tent. I'm on a bit of a local wild camp today down by the estuary. The reason I've got this tent is for spring and summer I want something that's very lightweight. Now I think the weight on this is about 1.8 kilos, so that makes it most definitely the lightest tent that I've got. Now I bought it from Amazon and I was looking at one-man tents or one-person tents, and they're all very low profile, so you've got to be laying them. This is the only one that looked like you could sit up on it in it. So I have obviously watched a few reviews already that other YouTubers have done, and it's a very mixed bag. So whether it's going to work for me or not, I don't know. There's been a lot of complaints about the vestibule area. It's only about 6 to 12 inches wide, so it's no good for cooking in, but I might have a solution for that, so stay tuned. So yeah, out on the gravel bike. I'll go through the gravel bike, what's on there in a little bit with you, but first of all, let's get this tent whacked up. Right, so first of all, let's have a look what it says on the front of the bag. It's 3000 hydrostatic head, fire retardants, Powerflex fiberglass poles. The weight is 1.8 kilos. That's the rough dimensions of the bag, 50 by 14 centimeters, and it's got a pitch time of 7 minutes, but it's going to take me a little bit longer because I'm filming everything. So there's a picture of the tent as well, and we've got some measurements here. I suppose the two main ones. The length is 250 and the height is 90, which is in centimeters, and it looks like the thickest end, kind of the widest part of the tent should I say, is 100 centimeters. Then on the back we've just got a kind of a repeat. The only thing that they've added there is that it is fire retardant. So when I first started camping many moons ago, and I've owned quite a few Vangos over my lifetime, it used to be the bag that opened at one end like this, and then you'd have a drawstring, and you'd have to cram everything into it. But they have changed things. I've noticed over the last couple of years they've been doing this. So now you've got, on this particular one, you've got a carry handle. Most of them have carry handles. 2 buckles there, so that you can cinch it all down, get it all very small. And then they are actually now giving you an oversized bag, so you can just chuck everything in there. So let's just check. I've not even opened this yet. So we've got poles, pegs, inner and outer, and an instruction sheet of how to put it up. Don't really need that. I think I've put enough tents up now. I can do this. Right. I don't know why. Well, I know why they do it, but I never reuse these. So first of all, it's kind of a plastic kind of ground sheet, which is quite good for areas where you've got brambles. That's obviously the fly sheet. It's good for when you've got brambles on the ground, which I have a few here. So yeah, not the lightest material they could have used. They could have used something that's a little bit lighter, that would bring the weight down even more, because on their bigger tents they use material like the fly sheet's made out of. Right, so in first impression, it is a blackout tent, which means it's going to be quite dark inside. And one thing I'm surprised about is the diameter of the poles. I was expecting quite thick ones. I'll just bring you in. They are very, very thin. So I'm very surprised about that. Surprised as in a good way, because I was expecting quite thick ones. So it's just a case of the old style pin. Once you've got your pole into position, they just go into there. done, not too difficult. And then we just peg it out at the back, but I'll do that in a second. Let's get the front one in. So on this one it's just a straight section of pole, which I'm presuming will make an arch. We'll get an equal amount of pole through each side, and then again it's these metal pins that we use just to clip the end of the pole in. And then I'll start pegging the base out. So the pegs are very cheap quality. You do have two pegs that are like that. I'll show you what they're for in a second. But yeah, very cheap steel pegs. I would replace these automatically with aluminium ones, but for today we're just using them because they came with the tent. Right, so that was dead simple. Two pegs at the front, one peg at the rear. Now, these are marketed as beginners tents. Personally, I think I would have gone with a tent that can be pitched in one, you know, the inner and the outer at the same time, like my Vango Hydra. Because if it's torrential and this is the first time using this tent, you may be faffing about, and before you know it, the tent's going to be wet through. But you know, it is a learning curve. Like I say, for the price, it's ideal. Right, what I'm going to do before I put the fly on, I'm going to jump inside and just show you how long it is. I'm 5'8", so let's see how much room we've got in there. So I'm laid straight down, which I don't sleep like that. I sleep on my side, but I'm laid straight down, feet are touching the bottom, and I've got a probably 5 inches to play with at the top at the head end. If I come to the side as I would normally sleep, got plenty of area down here to store stuff. It is a bucket style ground sheet and it's completely mesh. The rest of it is completely mesh, and we've got a little tab there, a tiny tab to hang a light on, and 2 pockets either side. So very simple. There's down at the bottom, I'll take you around. Down at the bottom we've got ventilation down there and ventilation ports just here. So yeah, it is big enough for one person, that's what it's designed for. So down at the end there you can see the ventilation window. It doesn't open, it's just purely the mesh is different than what the actual tent's made out of. And on the outside you've got 2 triangles here, one either side. Big storage pockets, 2 of them, one either side. And if I just spin you around, I've got mud in here already. Spin you around, that there is your little tab. It's tiny. That's going to need a carabiner or something, or a hook through it. But that's where you can hang your light, just above the door. So there is a little tab at this end as well, if you want to sleep with your head at the smaller end of the tent. But I think you'd get a bit claustrophobic. Well, I know I would. So just out of curiosity, I want to know how thick these poles are, just in case I need to replace them. And they are 6.8, call it 7mm. But I'm pretty sure you can get spares from Vango. Obviously, door at the front. Now we've got these. I wish they wouldn't do this, Vango, if you're listening. These are your tie-on points for the actual poles. They could use Velcro. A lot of companies use Velcro. Right, so simply get it roughly over to begin with. This is where you might come unstuck if you're new to camping and it's windy and you've got to mess around with this kind of thing. Right, so all you need to do is just simply tie it on. so that's the back one done. We've got two at the front. Or three at the front, I think we've got actually. Simple granny overhand knots will do. Have I just tied that in the wrong position? Come on Andy, get your game together. Where's the middle one? There's the middle one. Right, so that's them three tied on. So once you've got your fly sheet tied on the inside, simply go around, put your pegs in, a nice angle. Right, give me 2 seconds and I'll undo the guy ropes. Right, so that's it all pegged out, including guy lines, guy ropes. That one on the rear is just for your ventilation under there. I'll take you around this side as well. So remember I was saying about the flat pegs before, two of them. There for your door entrance. On this piece of webbing you see these brass eyelets, and they just go through there. Stop you tripping over this basically. Right, okay. The main thing with this tent is, can I sit up and can I cook here? By the looks from where that strap is to here, yes, I probably could get away with it, but my stove is very low profile. If you're using one of these Jetboil ones that's up here, you're probably going to struggle. Just noticing an ant's nest down there. Well done, Andy. I could probably get away with boiling some water if I took these two pegs out and moved that back. Yeah, I could probably get away with cooking if I did that, but I would have to move the ground sheet out of the way. This is just in case it's raining, so. And then obviously the other thing we've got to consider is my mat's going to be in here, so that'll be the next thing to get in, see if my mat actually fits in here. But it is what it is. Now I have brought a DD magic carpet with me, which I can use as an additional porch area. So let's give that a go. Before I do that, let's just wind these doors out of the way. So let's address this issue of no porch. Now bearing in mind this is going to be for spring, summer, light showers, not heavy torrential downpours. Autumn, winter, definitely I would use the Vango Hydra, but this is just my summer setup. Right, so I've got a DD Magic Carpet XL. It has seen better days, it has got a couple of holes in it. Glad to give us some extra pegs with the tent because I've got to bring my own. So yeah, 4 pegs, a couple of guide ropes. In here I've got some clothes pegs, a couple of carabiners. So don't know what I'll need. Let's see if I can knock something up. Right, so this is what I've come up with. I've got a guy rope on one side going that way. 1, 2, 3 pegs. I'll just show you around the corner. So peg on this corner, that's the front end, and a peg there. So I've left that guy rope on because depending on wind direction I might need to put the whole thing over the other side, so then I've got the guy rope already attached. Yeah, it's a little bit flimsy, but the front part of it's pretty okay, and it does allow me a little bit more room to cook in. So I'll bring you in, and I can't actually get in here still. So yeah, I'd be quite happy cooking just there. The other side of that, I don't want to burn that. I'd be quite happy just doing it there. Plenty more storage space now. So yeah, that might be an option for you. Just looking back there. I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll just do this front door up. Well, this secondary door, should I say. The inner door. Let's have a look at that. Something else got caught at the bottom, but there we go. So that's the door from the inside, and yeah, I've got this large mesh part. Now I'll just show you outside. You can just see there I've put a twig in just to lift the outer vent up. I haven't done it on this side because I'd already put the tarp up, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, just and it opens both ways. Oh no, does it open both ways? No, just a single zip. So it's just a single zip all the way around. As you can see, I'm doing it one-handed. Now you can tuck that into this little pocket here if you're not using the pocket. So I don't know if you can see, but there's my little twig holding this vent open. Now years ago, Vango used to give you like a little strip that had Velcro up against this to hold it open. For some reason they've stopped doing that. I don't know why. It's not even on my Hydra. I haven't got one on my Hydra, so I just use little sticks to open the ventilation holes. I think it might be MI6 checking me out with somebody in a wild camp where I shouldn't be. I wonder how much one of them things costs. A couple of grand, I reckon. That sky, beautiful. Right, I'm just going to quickly show you around the bike. I've done this on the last video, and I do intend doing a full bike exploding kind of video, what I bring with me. So on the front forks, you can see I've got these two dry bags. I've just taken one off. Two dry bags on the front. This is mainly cooking stuff either side. So in one side I have a large bottle of gas and a stove and a foldable windshield that goes around the stove. On the other side I have titanium cook pots. So there's one inside there which is a mug and a little bag with utensils. That's the reason why it's off the bike. I've just had to use these. So I use the Yugoslavian mess cutlery set, and I'll bring you in and tell you why I'm using that in a second. So on the front of the bike, as you've seen, I've got my yellow Ettore cycling jacket, really good. I do highly recommend them jackets. And then under the handlebars, on the handlebar bag, I've got my inflating sleeping mat. Now this one is the green one, which you have to hand pump, but I have got another one called Rambler Peak where you can actually use a little handheld electric pump for that. So that's usually underneath the handlebars. That's usually the sleep system, or the sleeping mat, should I say. On this bag here, bottle of water in there, and in here, sunglasses or cycling glasses, depending. Bottle of hand sanitizer and a bottle of Skin So Soft from Avon. Really good for midges. I highly recommend that. I have an allergic reaction to midges when they bite me, and that stuff just keeps them away. It's brilliant. In the main frame bag here, that's all to do with the bike. So I've got a massive lock in there about the size of the Titanic's anchor chain. I've got chain splitting equipment for the chain on the bike, spare inner tubes and all that jazz. That's all in there. And there is a rock climbing sling because it opens both sides. There is a rock climbing sling which I can actually put around the bike frame, put it on my shoulder and carry the bike up steps if I need to. I've demonstrated that in past videos. As you can see, I've got 3 water bottles here as well. This top frame bag here, that is a slimline power bank and 2 phones. So the phone that I record on my personal phone, they live in there. This bag is usually keys, my house keys, water purification tablets. I always carry at least half a dozen of them, and snacks. So in there I've got 2 Kit Kats. Working towards the back of the bike, the saddle, I think they're called saddle cradles. In there, as you've seen, lives the tent, whichever tent I'm bringing. On this occasion it's been a really small light one, and I am, you know, thumbs up for me for that tent. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's lightweight, and that's the main thing. Yes, I'd have to put a, I had to put a tarp over it, kind of thing, to give me a little bit more space, but the tarp weighs grams, you know, it's not adding any weight really, and it's lighter than my winter kit, my winter setup. Anyway, that's me waffling. So 2 low-mo dry bag panniers on the back. One of them has what I call my personals kit. So in there I've got like a small tablet that I can watch films on. I've got a small book. I brought a bigger book, we'll get into that in a bit. Head torches, earplugs, you know, that kind of thing lives in one side. On the other side today, not always, but on the other side is the frying pan, the plate, and a butty box full of goodies, as usual. So yeah, that's the bike. Now I'll bring you in to have a look at this mess set. Can't even speak. Cutlery set. Let's call it a cutlery set. I'll bring you in for a closer look. Right, so this is the cutlery set out, the Yugoslavian mess set. Spoon, fork and a knife. Now I like this knife, and this is why it stays with me. You've got a bottle opener there, which I've just had to use. We've just cracked open a bottle of beer. And on the other side, you've got a tin opener. So it's a 3-in-1 knife. It's also got a little bit of a serrated edge there, so you can use it for steaks. And it all fits together as I've demonstrated. It's stainless steel. Yes, I could replace it for titanium, but I'm not going to get a bottle opener and a tin opener on a titanium set. Other things in this little bag: little vial of salt, a decent kind of legal carry non-locking knife, and a pair of scissors. And like I said, the only thing that's in there is the titanium Boundless Voyager. That's the Boundless Voyager one. The one actually inside is from a different company. This is my old trusty mug. Can't even remember what the company is. Oh, it's Keith. So yeah, you can tell that that's had some pretty good use out of it over the years. So in case you're wondering why I've got a bigger pot in here as well, just not a mug, when I'm doing longer journeys, a couple of days, I use froze dry food, and this is the ideal size for boiling up water for them little pouches. And there is just one last thing on the kind of luggage system, if you like. First aid kit. Now it is on the pannier rack, so it doesn't get any splash from the tyre upwards, but it might get rained on. So everything in there is in its own kind of big plastic bag. Everything's just chucked in there. It's quick release. You can just take it off like that. And I don't know if the camera can see that. So I've actually raw plugged this strap that I've made myself to the pannier frame, and it's really quick and easy to access. So the stuff in the actual first aid kit is mainly for road injuries. Road injuries and cuts. If I come off the bike, get badly grazed, there's stuff in there that I can sort myself out with. Other than that, I'm going to need to be airlifted or an ambulance. It is just first aid. So a few plasters, that kind of thing, all goes in there. Right, so the sleep mat is in, slightly curved at the back, but it's not a major issue. And I always have it so that the pump and the valves are this way up, So if it does go down in the night, I can just put some more air in it. I'll tell you what, that sun is gorgeous. I've just had to take my base layer off. I mean, I'm all in black, so that's not helping, but yeah, it's a beautiful day. So on the way in, you've obviously seen the Lomo dry bag rucksack. On the outside there is my ham radio. I'm a licensed ham radio operator, but the beauty of this radio is I can tune into commercial radio stations. I like Radio 4, I know I'm old, but yeah, so a little bit of entertainment. Really good bags these are. I've done a review of this bag on the channel, go and check it out. And inside there really is just my sleeping bag, and this chair that I'm sat on was in here as well. Got a couple of bin bags and a fleece just in case it gets cold at night. That's all it is, and it's simple roll top down design. You have these clips at the side. Absolutely bomb-proof bit of kit that is. Right, so onto the sleeping bag. For my regular subscribers will know that I usually use the Always Summer sleeping bag by Marmot. It's a down sleeping bag. It's died to death. It has to be binned. It got a small tear in it, which I tried to repair, and every time I've used it since, the tent's been full. Not this one, but the other tents have been full of duck down, so I've binned it, and I will be getting another one. So today I'm going to be using the Dura 2 sleeping bag from DD Hammocks, and it's basically designed for hammocking. This is, so you've got a waterproof foot box at the end, and it's centre opening, and inside you've got a couple of pockets where you can store things. I used to use this in winter, and it's been stored for ages because I've been using the down sleeping bag. But yeah, I've had to break it out, and we'll be going to be using that one tonight. So let's get that thrown in, and I mean literally thrown in. Don't make me bed at home like this, you know. Right, that'll do me. So at least I've got somewhere to sleep. Oh, woo! Can't believe how warm it is. Oh, I've only got 2 bottles with me, and I'm halfway through the first one. So as a responsible wild camper, I've done a little bit of litter picking. I know this area well, and there is public bins close by. So why people do this, I don't know. Obviously lager louts by the looks of it, and there is a tarpaulin in the bottom of there as well. So that'll all go out with me tomorrow morning. So sometimes the internet can only take you so far in your research. So I've got this book, I've had it quite a few months now, probably over a year actually. Wings Across the Border, a history of aviation in North Wales and the Northern Marshes. So this is research for an upcoming cycling through history video. Right, so I've got the radio playing in the background. I'm going to do my research. I'll bring you back when it's time to cook. Right, you'll have to excuse the mess because he's a right pig that lives here. Right, so cooking tonight, got a couple of baguettes, just letting them dry out a little bit in the sun because they have become a little bit condensated in the butty box. Got some bacon that I've pre-cut into like kind of chunky slices, and in this bag I have got, if I can get in there, another bag just to stop leakages. And in there is 2 chicken breasts with some, you know, these packets of Schwartz rubs you can get. So there's a packet of that in there, which is Texas barbecue, and a little bit of honey, drizzle of honey over the top, and that's been in the fridge overnight to let it marinade. So let's get this cooked up. The idea being is we'll have some baguettes, do the bacon after, and then I've got a little bit of cheese pre-grated to sprinkle over the top, and a bit more barbecue sauce in sachets if need be. Let's get it on. Oh, the smell that's coming off